So about, I'd say 3 or 4 months ago, having taught yoga now for 5 years in Spain and then before that in London, I was holding retreats here as well. I felt that there was a moment that I was kind of evolving, but not necessarily sure how and what was happening. And I realized that a lot was based around my yoga teaching, but actually that I'd evolved as a person was doing so much more. And that made me kind of question, why was I hiding behind a brand, a yoga name brand? Even though it means my name, I decided that I wanted to be known as me, as Usha Kaur, which is what I was born with. And that then led me to have some conversations in the women's entrepreneur group. And we were talking about how we don't need to define ourselves as one thing in business, that we're constantly evolving, and in that changes. And from there, really, there was a few synchronicities, and I do believe in synchronicities and the magic that comes into life to guide us in the right direction. And I was led to a celebrant course, a spiritual celebrant course, so to support people with baby naming, to marriage, to end of life, afterlife, whatever we believe in. And then the synchronicities fell within that. And that's led me now on to completing a course in May, which aligned with my 10-year wedding anniversary. So I do believe that sometimes our business is evolving and we don't even realize it is. And then suddenly we're in this new chapter, and the evolution is there. And it's not that I'm stopping my yoga and my retreats. It's like I'm just kind of adding something to my teachings that helps all, not just the yogi. It helps people at different stages of their life cycle. So I kind of had this moment in the women's entrepreneur group where it was like, okay, we don't have to be just one thing. It's been 7 years, kind of like a life cycle, a chakra cycle. It was like, okay, 7 years doing this. Okay, maybe there's a chance for, I don't know, a rebirth in a sense, a rebirth in my business. And that just gave me this big like aha sort of moment of, okay, yes, we do evolve in business too, and it doesn't have to stay static. It can move, and that's kind of how the conversation happened in the group, which was super inspiring for me, to be fair. Yeah.
That's awesome. I really love the way you describe that sense of evolving, and I guess it's like it sounds like you're sort of, I suppose, softening that sense of identity, which can be really rigid, and I think we can kind of sometimes hold on to that and kind of be so wedded to that because it feels safe, and it's like, oh, I'm this, so I know I can understand the world because I'm this. But actually, obviously, we're so much more than one thing, and several things, in fact, so multiple things. And so, like the fact that you're like honoring that and just sort of breaking down that sense of business identity. Um, yeah, it sounds so freeing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a feeling of being multidimensional as well. Like we are, we're not just one thing. We're not just one part of our business. There's so much in that. So it really it felt freeing. That was the word, freeing. It was like, hang on a minute. I don't have to define myself as one thing. I can be many different things. And I laugh because I'm a Gemini, and in Geminis, we can feel like we can do a million things. And then also, why not? Why not do different things? Why does it have to be, that's what I am, that's what I'm staying with, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? It's like, okay, my cycle's changing in my life. I'm not a mum of a baby anymore. I'm a mum of a 10-year-old. Even that's changing. So therefore, my time's different to what it was when I started the business. I had less time at the start. I've now got a bit more time again. So even that evolves as well with the other parts of our life too. So yeah, freeing was the word, Kate. It really was a freeing moment of, okay, let's see what happens next.
Mm. And what are things like now? How do you feel about your business or businesses now?
It feels that there's movement. So therefore, I think once the course finalizes and I have, again, there's going to be a level of knowledge and a depth of knowledge that I will be on the journey with. Already I've been given some book lists, and they're totally different and totally new. So it's like another layer I'm going to be reaching in my business. So it feels that it's in a way it's static, but it's not, because I feel like the movement's happening. And there's a feeling of static because I know there's going to be a growth period of whether it's just from the education or whether there's going to be, if I will have some weddings or some end of life ceremonies or something, happening later this year. But, I've been working with different ceremonies for a couple of years now. So just now to be able to learn a little bit more and from a different level is going to be what I'm really interested in, to see how that evolves. So I feel in some ways I thought it was static and I thought I was in a static moment, but it wasn't. I think it was like you said, there was that moment of, okay, this is just going well, it's flowing, but actually I'm ready for another layer. I'm ready for another, I guess initiation in a way of like what I can do and what I can offer. And what I can really, this is about what I can give to humanity. Like there's so much we can do with our yoga and our practices, but now it's like, okay, how can I support families on the journey for afterlife? How can I support new mothers? How can I support people that are getting married in their own ways and in offering a different ceremony? I want to be really bespoke at what I give people. My idea is that offering ceremony in different forms for people is another, it's just another layer. It's going to be another depth to support people on their journey in those three really important parts of life, from birth to marriage to the end of life. They're all just such really big moments in people's lives. So how can we be of service to support them on those journeys? So I'm super excited actually.
It's amazing. Like it really feels like a sort of fresh chapter
Yeah,
as you're
it
talking.
does. Yeah.
I wonder, like, do you feel how do you feel about like in terms of being at a position where you are now in terms of exploring this new chapter and all these, like as you said, really meaningful moments and feeling sort of, obviously you're sort of, grounded and have that sense from your yoga practices. But like I wondered in terms of like the maturity of your career and work so far sort of brought you to this place that you're now that it almost is necessary to then do what you're going to do.
100%. Like I really feel that with everything there's a divine timing. I could not have done this 10 years ago. There's no way I could be at the point where I could support people at end of life, um, or even as a new mother. Like I didn't know what I do now 10 years down the line to be able to offer ceremony for new mothers. And again, I didn't know 10 years ago when we first got married what I know now about marriage. So again, we're constantly evolving, and this is the only thing that we're certain of in life, is the cycle that keeps moving. Like we're in cycles all the time, whether it's, with the moon or with the seasons. But this is also the only thing that we're sure of, is this birth, marriage, end of life. Like that is the only certain we have. So how can we offer something that's so special for people in those moments? To me, it feels quite magical, really, to be able to do that. And it was so aligned. Like as I said, it just was from a friend initially saying you should do this, to okay, let's see what's available, to, as I said, finding the course that starts on our 10-year wedding anniversary. It was, and it just it just kind of was like, okay, do I need any more answers? Here you are. Here's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say about using your intuition and really kind of working with what feels right and aligned versus what you think you should be doing? Because it feels like that's been quite a guiding feeling. If anyone else is sort of maybe fighting with that a bit, because I think we all have understand what that means. When we fight with our intuition, it's like, oh, but hold on, my thinking mind is telling me this. That's probably right, or that's what I should be doing. Versus, but actually, this feels right. what would you say to someone that's kind of in that sort of that's not that's sort of grated, those two states are kind of grating against each other?
I 1,000,000% believe in listening within to where we need to go next because it's there. Our intuition is always guiding us. Um, it's sometimes that we just need to ask and believe the answer. Like that, it's believing that we're being guided. And and for me, there was a juggle moment, and I think I spoke to you. I was thinking about going into another job, an old job, which was flying, and there was a real sliding doors moment of, okay, the celebrant course is the same week as the training they were offering. That's what I was in this predicament about a month ago. And it was a real like heart head moment of, okay, one gives me stability, one is really heart led. And I just knew the right answer. So I said, okay. I said, I need divine guidance. What is this answer? And then the airline, about 3 days later, emailed me and said, "You're not ready. We're not ready for you to be on this course yet," which gave me my answer. So it was like, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do that at any point again in my life, but it was at this point, I said, I need divine intervention. Can you give it to me? And I just trusted my intuition, trusted that it'd be a few more days. And there was my answer. It was like, okay, you're not starting that now. So the only other thing was, okay, I'm finishing the course then. So it was kind of, yeah, it was completely trusting on intuition for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think like there's quite a lot, a lot of people say that, oh, emotions haven't got any place in business, but I so disagree with that. And like you said, like the answers for business, for life, everything, because everything is connected, right? That is all here. So it's like trusting that that answer is deeper within rather than coming sometimes from incessant thinking and that sort of like, oh, I gotta do this, but actually that's not really what we need to listen to.
Yeah, 100%. And we obviously we do need to use our mind as well, and we need to plan and we need to make decisions. But when you're in a situation where I think as well, especially working with people at such sensitive times, it's we have to be in our emotions. We have to because we are working with people. Um, and and I think if I had this big plan of what I'd be doing for the rest of 2025, I know it wouldn't work like that. It hasn't done since I've decided to live in Spain and work more like divinely connected within. I decided to let go of that old way of being, which I did have for a lot of my life, and actually just trust. And this has been a big lesson to say, okay, there you go. It doesn't mean I don't have to sometimes sit down and make some plans. Of course, I do that. But I also work a lot with my cycle, which I know was discussed before, I think, in one of the groups too. I cannot work in my winter just for those few days, but then I can work doubly hard in my summer. It's like part of my cycle. So I feel again that's another cycle that we're working in, and I believe it really works. It's how I work best, and it's how I've been working for the last say 6 years, and it definitely works for me in that way as well.
Yeah, I love that. Great, thank you. Is there anything else you want to share with our members?
I think just, of course, in business, we need to have a certain way of being, but I do believe our heart's guiding us like all the time, and I think we can have heart-led businesses, and I do believe that as the feminine, we don't have to work in the ways that we thought we had to work. I think we really can work differently now, and I think we have to go into that because from a yogic perspective and from what I work with the nervous system, women are struggling as they're getting older with autoimmune diseases, and because they're carrying too much, and we have to start working with how we're meant to work, which is in a cyclical way. We're not in a 24-hour cycle like the masculine is. It's different. We work in a completely different way, and we can't keep working like that. It doesn't work. And So I think that we have to really tune into the feminine, and having a women's entrepreneur group working and supporting each other as women is a perfect way of honoring that and being in that. So I definitely feel that there's shifts happening, but I think we have to listen to that. We have this feminine cycle and we have to work with that. If we don't, we get burnt out. And there's so much in the business world of people being burnt out, stressed, especially women. And I think we have to listen to our bodies more. We really have to listen to our bodies and how our bodies are meant to work. And it just can't be in the masculine structured way. It has to be a different way. And I think we can. I genuinely think we can work like this. So yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you and hearing about your story and your journey and your new chapter.
Thank you, Kate. And thank you for honestly, it's such a beautiful group you've created of so many inspiring women I've met so far. So I really feel that this was really needed. It's really needed to come together as women in business and to hold each other basically and yeah, support each other. So thank you for creating it too.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Thanks, Usha. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.